Hello everyone, my name is Julio Quijada and here is my poster board on today's project. So I'm going to start with a acculturation. As you can see here, in this picture here, this is actually well, it's not at my actual friend's house, but in the past this is the setting and what it looks like. This is kimonos. There's some kimonos actually hung on the side here. And this just reminds me of a time when I was young and I would go over to my friend's house and they're Korean and you would have to take off your shoes. At the time, I didn't understand it. I was just thinking they wanted to be extra clean. I thought that was part of the culture. But as I adapted, I acclimated, and also found out more about their culture as I came over more often. It was easy to tell that that was just part of their everyday life. Um, I wrote some notes down here from what I remember growing up with my friends there. I just remember, it was all about the cleanness, about the respect, to follow the lead of basically my friend's mom. She was very helpful and would, serve the meal, but it was on a table that was in the living room and a little lower than my table that I was used to at home. But in that, I would say that the way of life changed for me because I was able to open my mind at a very young age and know that we weren't all the same, but at the same time we were because we all eat, right? So at the time we were able to, I was able to adapt to them, sit there. I didn't wear a kimono, of course, because that wasn't my complete culture, but I respected it and they welcomed me. So I would say that would be a time for me that I acclimated to, acculturation that um, isn't mine, but I was able to respect it and be around it and live a happy life around it. Um, for my next image here, this is actually a family here, and there's children, there's women. Um, this is actually praying a rosary in the Catholic religion here, growing up as a Catholic child. Um, when someone passes away, it's very normal after they've been laid to rest that you pray the rosary for 9 days. To be honest, it I remember growing up and it was mostly the woman that would go into a room and for 9 days they would pray for who had passed away, and the men were usually out in the either the front yard or garage and just kind of hanging out waiting for the woman to pray. I remember growing up and my mom and grandma were very um, how do I say, very just held and attained to this culture where it would make you feel better, but it would also help you know that you were being positive and letting go of the person that you were putting to rest, but also in a way where you were praying for their peace and also for their rest. If that makes sense there. To me, that was the biggest part of something where I had to grow up and also respect, like I previously mentioned. It was my culture, but I didn't know it. It was taught to me. Someone would pass away, and I was like, okay, well, how do you? It was just a part of grief, right? In our culture, it didn't mean that in those 9 days you would get over it, but it was a great way to start and pray for the peace of the person that had passed. That was a great example for me where I had to practice something that was um, definitely something new, but now something very common and that I am used to in my culture. The last image that I actually have here, if you can tell, is our very popular, beautiful Fullerton College here. Um, you may ask why, but that came up in individualism for me, because for me personally, the question is, what have you done in life where you've had to risk some stuff, say no to things, say yes to other things and opportunities, but lose some but gain others. For me, it is Fullerton College. For me, it has been becoming a student and staying a student, a focused student that is able to turn in their work and say no to a few hangouts and family reunions in order to keep good grades and keep my focus, because I know that in the long run and the end goal is what's important to me. So that is also why I put that there. So once again, here are all three, and I will post them along with this video, and I thank you for your time.